She doesn't want to. No. Oi, oi, oi. Hello, everybody. Did I screw up this thing again? Betcha I did. Okay, I got one thumb, so I guess I did not. I don't know if I forgot to put. Okay, good. Got somebody communicating because there for a second I'm like, oh, did I put it, public? I can never tell. I can never remember until I do it, or until something happens. Give me a second, folks. Okay, there we go. All right, goody. I can see people communicating. Hello, Aunt Amy. Amy? Anime? I don't know. Sorry, my brain is. It's not foggy. It's just scattered. It's literally everywhere. Between things that need to be done around the house, things that are happening around the house. I've stopped looking at political stuff because it's just like driving me insane. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to go back to my original 3 rules. So we're not going to talk about Amy. Okay, we're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about finances, and we're not going to. Well, we're going to try not to talk about Jerry. The only reason why I said that is I'm concerned for Jerry and about Jerry. And things have been going on that have caused a lot of, I don't know if I want to call it family issues, personal issues, or just issues. Because there's just a lot of things going on. And for me, it's a combination of a lot of indecisiveness because of what's happening. I mean, I have my hangups, and I'm gonna go ahead and air my hangups because that way maybe some people would understand where I'm coming from. Okay. We're gonna go back to the 80s, late 80s. We had gone to St. Louis. We were living in Phoenix. My dad was still alive, and we had gone to St. Louis because my grandmother passed away, and I got the opportunity to go see my cousins who lived in Ohio. I got the opportunity to go with my aunt and uncle and my one cousin to Ohio to see both my cousins and just see Ohio. During that time, I was getting anxious feelings. I was getting weird feelings, and I didn't know how to handle them because I didn't know what they were until Mom called me about Dad. Dad being in the hospital after getting home because of his diabetes, and that he had to have one leg amputated to deal with blood clots. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to move too far away. And it's one of the reasons why I've been trying to look for a piece of land with enough property for a tiny house. I actually found a piece of land here, not too far away, right here in city limits, basically, that had it's basically a preset for a secondary living building. It has preset plumbing, sewage, and wire, and electrical. The only downside is it's a 9.2 acre piece of land for a decent price. It's not over our budget. And Mom's willing. But so if something happens, I'm right here. I don't have to worry about traveling 18.
You're hung up, Jim. Frozen.
Oh, now I'm frozen. Hold on. Well, this is one of the reasons. My dang phone. My tablet's frozen, but I hope everything else is. Yeah, my aunt and uncle live close to. Actually, I think they now live in Worcester. While my one cousin, who is still alive, who lives out there, is in. I don't know where he is. Last thing I knew was Akron. I'm gonna try to do something with my tablet because my tablet wants to freeze up, and I might have to rely on mom to tell me comments because my tablet doesn't want to work properly.
Not there, were you?
Um.
Right now, I can't get anything either.
Oh, it's because our Wi-Fi is not working. Hold on a second, folks. Let me check my Wi-Fi because it's goofing up. Oh no, it's ringing. So I don't know what's going on with my Well, it says my Wi-Fi is working, but my tablet don't want to connect. Usually when that happens, I try to Here we go. There we go. Of course, the moment I stand up, it starts working.
Well, I'll take the picture.
Yeah, my picture's all scrambled. But anyhow, so that's the major reason why I want to, have mom close by. Now, honestly, the other reason is I don't know if we can afford anything, and I didn't want to go into politics, but with the way things are going and all the stuff that I've been reading, I'm worried about my ability to get SSA or SSI. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. I don't even know what to say without starting to talk about politics. But my biggest concern is my mom's welfare. Now, yes, I did say at one point in time that the place that she was going to go to, or wants to go to, is it's kind of costly, and I pointed out some things to my mom that made her think and jump back on my bandwagon of trying to find a piece of property big enough for her to have a secondary house. Hopefully, VA will clear it. Because I had pointed out what ifs, like all the what ifs. I basically said if we could afford to keep this house, the reason why I would want to keep this house is what if she can no longer afford to stay at this place because prices get too high and they jack up prices. What if, her VA or Social Security gets messed up because of the man who's supposed to be our president-elect, which they're already finding all kinds of fraud on that. And like I said, I'm not going to get into that. I just, I worry because I pointed out, granted this is not the 1300s anymore or the Renaissance era, but back in those days, families stuck together just for being able to help each other out in any way, shape, or form. But I realize that, I'm hoping the same thing, Nelly. I really am. I'm trying to think positive, but after the first 4 years with the same person, I'm just kind of like, once bitten, twice shy. But I I you know I unfortunately, because of all my experiences, and a lot of them were bad experiences from my teens on to, I'm still having bad experiences with one thing or another, but I always look at the worst case scenario because that's just the way my brain works. I'd rather think about the worst case scenario and hope to God it does not happen. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't even put it out there," and I'm like, yeah, but sometimes it's hard to. Um, I gotta clean my glasses. There's a smudge. But it's just I worry about her, you know, and that's the way it's been since my father passed away. I worry about her like a son should worry about their mother. You know, stand up for her, protect her, try to do the best I can to make her comfortable. And she's got a bad back, so I don't ask her. It's not that I can't. I just don't ask her to deal with dishes or anything that will have her bending over trying to put dishes in a dishwasher. Just like Jerry, she's got her kidney issues or her cancer issues and bone cysts and whatnot. She can't do as much as she used to. My only thing is, I wish she would. Well, she does. It's not just I wish to, but she does do as much as she can. I just wish she could do a little bit more because my body's starting to fall apart. I mean, I'm getting back issues that every 6 months I can go in for a steroid shot, which I don't know how good those steroid shots are with my diabetes. Exactly, Millie. That's one of the reasons why I worry about her. She's my only parent. I don't even have a mother-in-law. I had a father-in-law who was a good man. I mean, I liked dealing with my father-in-law. I mean, he taught me a lot of different things. He taught me patience. He taught me, to be a little bit more aggressive when I'm driving because the way I used to drive, it was like an old one. No offense to anybody who's an elderly person, but me trying to come around a corner in New York was like an old granny trying to get a car around the corner. I wasn't aggressive enough, and a lot of people were not exactly, all that happy about it. But I was still learning. Jerry Ann and I did joke about one thing though, because yeah, her father was great. Her father was great. Great cook, great teacher. But Jerry Ann and I were kind of joking about just go ahead and let mom move into that thing. Yeah, he was a fisher. He loved to fish. He would used to bring fluke and flounder depending on the season and coat them in Italian breadcrumbs and fry it up. But Jerry Ann and I were saying that if mom moves into the uh, the care facility or senior citizen homing, thank you, senior citizen housing, and we could not keep this place. Jerry didn't want to move locally. She wanted to move out of state. And I understand why, because of, Missouri is a red state and we're blue people. She was joking about moving to upstate New York. And I was like, I don't know if we'd be able to afford upstate New York because isn't upstate New York a little bit expensive compared to Missouri? Um, but I understand why. But then when I told her, look, the reason why I don't want to move out of Missouri is because of mom. Just like I didn't say this part to her, but I just thought about it. It's just like when her father was alive. We stayed in New York until he was unfortunately. Yes, that's why she wants to move to New York. It's a blue state, and we stayed in New York until her father passed away. and then it took Hurricane Sandy to finally push us out. So it's one of those things where I understand rhyme or reason for her wanting to move to upstate New York. That and Nellie, she was joking, but she was like, maybe Nellie could let us stay in her trailer home. And I was like, I wouldn't, I don't want to put Nellie out, you know. But that was what we were talking about. And then I explained to her why I didn't want to leave Missouri. So it's one of those kind of like, I know, I know mom is not as bad as her father was when he got sick before he passed away. But still, I don't want to have to travel 18 plus hours to get to Missouri. And within that 18 hours, yeah, I don't get the chance to say bye, you know, that type of thing. So, mom's never been to upstate New York. I have on a couple occasions, and mom might be perfectly fine there, but I won't be. And yeah, I know I have well, she doesn't have a really big YouTube family because she's not as active on YouTube as I am or Jerry. Um, Even though I've been trying, I keep on wanting, but I keep on forgetting to take mom and teach her how to do YouTube without having to show her face. Because there is a way to shut off the camera, but not the video or audio, I should say. Um, well, the family that she has nearby, she does not always get along with. But she does have her one friend, which has been a really good friend to her now. Um, but as I don't even want to talk about YouTube families. Not that I don't like my YouTube family. It's just I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I worry that certain people are giving her false information or being manipulated by these people. Um, I trust my mom when she says they're not. So it's it's just within the last couple of weeks I've seen actually last couple of months I've seen a major change in my mom's attitude, and it worries me because it's not a very good place to go. Um, yeah, I figured your camper was not a winter season living condition, but um, thank you, Allison. I try to be a good son. There are times where I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I forget to do something for mom? I mean, I most days on when I'm feeling totally capable of doing stuff, I make breakfast and dinner, and she'll eat those. She'll eat those two meals. I should be eating a lunch type meal, but I get up at like somewhere in between 9:30 and 10:30, and it's like by the time I'm done with breakfast, it's like, you know, I ain't got time to eat lunch, you know. But yeah, I would love to have like a four season type camper where I can travel wherever I want to at any time of the year. But Ann and I had talked about if we had a camper. Granted, Ann wants the camper and a base camp, like you have, Nellie. But she wants to be able to like travel whenever she wants to. And I said, well, it's simple. It takes 6 months. We do the southern part of the United States, you know, and then the other months we take either the mid, you know, or split it up in three. What's three divided by 12? Come on, Jim. Three divided. That's an unequal number. No, it isn't. Anyhow, we take a couple months during in the South Country. We take a couple months in the mid part of the United States, and then we take like summer we would be up north. Spring, fall, we would be in the middle part of the country. Or spring would be in the middle part of the country, and then wintertime would be in the southern part. And then when we were tired of traveling, we just, I figured just park at an RV park and stay there until we're done. But no, she wants a base camp. She wants a home camp. She wants an actual house to come to in between travels. So it's a bucket list thing. Don't know if it will ever happen for a lot of different reasons. Finances is the last thing I'm worried about. It's more like health reasons and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't think it will ever happen. I mean, there's the insurance on the RV. There's the. Actually, I was surprised to find out about it. RVs have mortgages. There's the maintenance. Did I say maintenance? Maintenance, mortgage, gas, and food, plus paying for wherever we happen to stay. We've already talked to them about it, and they said no. That, and I don't want to move, and I don't want to go back to Long Island. I don't want to go back to that heavy traffic. I'd rather go up north where Nelly is, you know, because there's not as much crazy people. But no, her one sister lives with her in-laws, and there's no room for us. Barely, when we go to visit, there's barely any room to well, I shouldn't say be comfortable, but it's not our place. It's not their place. So staying with them would be probably very, very difficult. Her other sister that lives in New York doesn't have enough room for us at all. And then there's her sister in Vegas, which I don't get along with. I don't get along with, and I won't. I would not go and do what she did to my house. To her, I would not go do to her house what she did here. So, her brother, no. I can go into details about that, but no. We don't. Nobody gets along with the brother. Nobody gets along with him. So yeah, no, moving in with him. One, he doesn't really have the space. Two, he's, you think Jerry's bad with all the stuff she has. He's worse. That in effect, he's. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to talk about it. Well, yeah, it's nice that Nelly, the thing about Nellie's camper is, like she said, it's not winterized. So living in that thing during the wintertime would be very cold. Oh, I know. I love having. I love this house. I really do. And the problem with this house is it's huge. Well, it's big. It's got a lot of space to clean up. I can't keep up with cleaning here at this house no more because of the way my body is. Now I get mad at myself at times. Like yesterday, I could have done a whole lot more than I did yesterday, but I got lost. I got what we call time blindness. I got lost in playing on my tablet. I was gonna do today as a no digital device day so I can get more done, but I ended up opening my device and got sucked into not games, but sucked into just the media. And I don't know why I even did that because it's Oh, that sounds nice, Nelly. But I wouldn't want to put you out. You know, if there's a reason you don't want to. No, I'm not gonna go there. That started sounding rude, and I don't want to be rude. Um, but the one reason I would like to downsize is be less space that I have to take care of. I wouldn't have to beat myself over the head because I didn't get certain things done. Um, yeah, I don't know. If, Mom, are you paying attention to what's going on?
I'm trying to. I can barely hear you, but I'm trying to pay attention.
Oh no, I'm talking about the replies and whatnot. Because some people are saying hi to you.
I was just typing that.
Um, oh, I have no. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I've got a roof over my head that keeps the weather from being, causing issues with my body, or being able to, make my own food, and I have no problem with that. Just Jerry would prefer to own instead of rent. Um, and one of the reasons why, and I understand, is because when you rent a home, you cannot make it your home. You can't put a bunch of holes in the wall. You can't repaint. You can't. There's a lot of things, a lot of reasons for not wanting to be in a rental. Um, but yeah. Oh, I see. I see. All right. Sorry for my misunderstanding. Um, I didn't realize that. But yeah. Um, hello, Raymond. I did not see you come in, but maybe that's because I'm focused on my camera. Um, but yeah, there. I mean, we've thought of a lot of different things, but I was upset the other day when Jerry basically said that if she can't keep this house, she'd rather move out of state. And I'm like, um, I don't know if that would work. Um, at least not for me. Um, I just answered that question, Betty. I really did. Um, um, it's question. It's comments like that, Betty, that irritate me because I've tried to look in. I mean, I've with Section 8 right now here in Rolla, you have put yourself on a wait list, and that wait list can last for a very, very long time. Um, I've already started looking at all different types of alternatives between Section 8 to rentals to what we've originally talked about quite some time ago, which was finding a nice piece of property with a space for mom to put up a tiny house and within our budget, within a budget, I should say. And I found one. It's right here in St. James. It's the next town over, basically. Maybe a 15 to 20 minute drive, depending on traffic and what road you take. It's the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it's 9.2 acres. Now, if it was like 4 or 5 acres, maybe I'd be okay with that. Um, it's already got a nice 3 bedroom, 1 bath on there with pre pre-installed hookup for a secondary an additional house. Basically, it's got the sewer, the water, and the electrical connectors. So all you have to do is build a house over that, or park a tiny house, or a mobile home or something like that. You know, and mom is kind of like, well, depending on how far away the hookups are from the main house, so she doesn't have to worry about listening to the dog bark at the critters, because it's surrounded by woods. It's got a good chunk of woodland behind the house. So it's just like maybe we need to call the realty agent and tell them, hey, look, we're back on the market looking at places with mother-in-law cottages or something like that. That VA will be okay with as long as it's at a certain budget. So, well, that's the thing. Well, no, we already looked at that, and it's within our price range. Well, that's what we thought about Shield Maiden. Is we thought about seeing if between Jerry's status and my status, if it would bump us up on on the lists for. I looked at Section 8, HUD, and fixed income. Fixed income were apartments. There is an area there's a housing area that she can that we can afford, pretty much. Jerry would like to move. If she moves, she wants to move to like upstate New York because it's a blue state, you know. Let's see here. Hey, Marguerite, I haven't seen you in a while. We are actually doing fairly good. I mean, Jerry has been having problems with her back and ribs. Basically, any area that has like a tumor or anything like that, even though it's not growing or spreading, it still causes her pain. I've been having problems with my lower back, but usually when I get up and start moving around, it goes away. You know, and just aches and pains from positions I've slept in. Betty, you're asking questions that I've already answered. So either open up your ears or be nice. Hey, Corey. Well, basically what's wrong with Jerry is just like aches and pains, and some of those aches and pains because of the cancer are semi-debilitating because it hurts sometimes to, like, she can't lay in bed for a very long time. She can't sit in a chair for a very long time, even a comfortable chair, because then it starts to hurt her back or her side, things like that. And I think it's a lot of muscle issue, but I think it's also a lot of the cancer problems. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, you can hear her right now. And the only reason why I say that, and I'm not gonna get into details, is she's having problems. She's having problems that has to do with non-cancer reasons. Or to put it mildly but nicely, she's on the pot and the door's not closed. I know that's probably TMI. Oh, you gave birth to a baby boy. No wonder you've been out of touch. I'm glad you're both doing well. What'd you name the little guy? I'm always curious about that. Baby names sometimes say a lot. Redhead Storm, you haven't asked any questions that I haven't already answered. Betty was, and I one of my issues is I don't always like repeating myself because it's like Were you not listening? And I know I'm not projecting my voice like I normally do because my throat's been a bother. It's that time of year where my allergies get to me and I get postnasal drip, and then it either feels like my throat's being closed off by the mucus, or it's causing issues with my larynx, my voice box, what are you going to call it? Um, no, if I had to check on her, I would have gotten up, and she usually would call my name. Um, there are a number of Section 8 home areas, but like I said, our name is on the Section 8. We're just waiting like everybody else who's put their name on Section 8. And I have a feeling Section 8 is going to get filled up real quick um, because of the economy of today. That, and we're not always wise with our money, and I don't mean just me and Jerry. I mean a lot of people. Hold on. Not according to my research. Um, hey, Bluegrass. Didn't see you come in. Thank you, Nelly. I put that person in timeout because obviously they don't know what they're talking about. Ugh. I'm gonna have to get a cup of tea. Well, Corey, you might think it's red, but everybody I know who lives in New York says it's blue. Unless you're talking about maybe parts of New York that I don't give a damn about, which is basically Long Island and the five boroughs. Um, okay. Interesting name. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I'm reading that wrong. Carlo Jr. So basically, he's going to have the same exact name as Daddy. Um, which I have no problem with. I mean, military thinks I have the same name as my dad, James D. Henson, but his D is Daniel, mine is David. So there's a difference. Uh, well, I'm sorry that you lost your voice yesterday. I'm glad you got it back. Yeah, Mom's in the background. Ouch. Owie, owie, owie. Sorry. Sheila has been missing for a while. I don't know if it's because I haven't been on in in such a long time. This has been okay. Okay. Camilo. Camilo. Um, bluegrass. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, something happened overnight after election, and somehow the whole country went red overnight. I'm like, no, 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 no. That's so they're already investigating a lot of like fraud and whatnot when it came to the votes, and found out that a lot of votes for Kamala Harris got thrown out. And I'm like, who the did that? You know, they should be incarcerated for that because it's basically tampering with federal files. But eh. Redhead Storm, not really. I mean, up until last night, I was like, I went through all the emotions. I was angry, I was sad, I was confused. I mean, just all the emotions came out, and it went. The whole week was just like, I don't know. I don't want to do nothing. I didn't. I. It wasn't until yesterday I finally said, you know, I need to get off my butt and clean my house and all the stuff that needed to be done. And I was just like, nah, I gotta start this week with, you know, positiveness and you know, get over let the government do what it's gonna do and pray and hope for the best. Um and I don't mean like Trump's better than Kamala or Kamala is better than Trump. You know, man upstairs knows what he's doing, and all I can do is sit back and let him do his thing. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things I need to be thinking about besides political stuff. Um, that's why I'm thinking about the name. You just, yeah, Marguerite's your son's name, Camilo. And I was like, um, that's the name of one of the characters on Encanto. I think he's the one that shapeshifts or whatever. But anyhow, I'm sorry. My brain is always everywhere. Um, my birthday. Um, I got stuff that I needed. Well, one thing I needed, the other two things I wanted, and that was on a vlog, not that was on a vlog around my birthday, or video. Do, 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 do. Yeah, maybe because she's working and you haven't been. Bluegrass. I'm not sure what your comment meant back here. Um, uh, yeah, positivity is the only thing. My stomach is gotten better. Um, I don't know if you heard when I talked about it after I got my X-rays back. Basically, it's just a blockage in my large intestines, which between Miralax and Metamucil, um, it's helped make things better. So I'm not in pain. I'm not constipated or anything like that anymore. So Spanish name, yeah, it's all right. Hey, um, I names are good. It don't matter what what nationality, our culture that they came from. It's just we name our kids. I like my father's side of the family. Most of the kids are basically named after biblical characters. I have basically my first name, which is also my dad's first name, James, King James. And then he has Daniel, which we all know who Daniel was, and then I have David. We all know who David was. He was a king. So I don't know. James was an apostle. Am I right, Ma?
I believe it was.
Yeah. So we all have our reasons for the names that we pick. But hey, you're either honoring a family member or something that's important to you. So let's see here. Just saying that kind of comment. Just I don't care. I'm not dealing with politics. Jerry is back in the bedroom right now. She physically she's okay. I mean, she has her aches and pains, but mentally she's kind of in the pits. Basically, she's not really all that well because of a variety of different things. Yeah. Well, not only do the VA papers to approve her what she's doing, but it's government, so it's going to take a while. That's how they work. That's the military for you. Hurry up and wait. Um, Jerry is actually doing fine. She's hurting a little bit from her. She's got that boo boo still, which is actually healing quite nicely, and then she's just got like the physical pains, and then some other issues that I can't really determine what they are. Um, um, yeah, I've been eating a lot of fiber. Um, I have to get some more oatmeal because we're running low on oatmeal. But I've got like these fiber bars that I eat in the morning time, the breakfast bars. Um, I've been eating like carrots. I got to go through my refrigerator to clean it up, and I think if it's still good, I've got some romaine lettuce that I can chop up and turn into a salad. Let's see here. I will definitely give her your regards. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Okay. Bluegrass was for dinner. Pork chops. I think I'm just gonna season them and grill them and try to decide what I'm gonna have for side dishes. Probably carrot, glazed carrots, and either green beans or corn. Probably green beans. I haven't had green beans in a while. Um, that's right. Monday is Veterans Day. If you know a veteran, thank them. If they're a family member, give them a hug. Um, I'm ready to get the tree out this week. and the inflatables. Tree and, oh, you're talking about Christmas decor. I probably won't do that until either right before or right after Thanksgiving. Probably right after Thanksgiving. It gives me a month to find everything and decorate the outside and put up our tree and that stuff. Um, yeah, I know you're a veteran. You had talked about it at one point in time. We had talked about my father being Air Force and you being, I think you said, I can't remember if you said Army or Marine. So sorry that I don't remember your branch that you were in, um, but to me it doesn't matter. All veteran and military personnel have served our country in one way, shape, or form. Amy, if you knew me, you wouldn't be asking that question. I grew up in the military. I love our military personnel. I tried to go in, but between shin splints and asthma that I thought had gone away, I was giving a medical honorable discharge or a medical discharge. I can't remember which one it was. I mean, I made it halfway through basic, and that was at Fort Jackson, home of the Victory Tower. And if you've ever watched, oh God, what was that movie? The Millennial Man or something like that? They filmed that at Fort Jackson. I wasn't there when they filmed it because that was before I went in. But I love our military. I have the utmost respect for our military, and I know what their oath is when they swore an oath to being a military personnel, and it shocks me sometimes what the military had to go through because of certain situations or presidents. But yeah, I love the military. I mean, I grew up in it. You know, Dad was in the Air Force. Um, yeah, I'll let her know. I'll let her know. November 1st? Okay. Yeah, I'll let her know. Um, um, I will, redhead. There's a couple of reasons why not mom, Jerry doesn't want to do it live right now. Um, a lot of it's personal, but I'll let her know. Day of the Dead. Well, you can keep the cream spinach. Never really liked cream spinach. No, I should take that back. I forgot what restaurant we went to, and Jerry got a side of cream that basically was spinach artichoke type dip in with cheese. I can't remember what kind of cheese it was, with little pieces of toasted bread or something like that. And dipping that, I mean, I like that. I just don't like eating cream spinach. I mean, you make it into a dip or something like that, I'll try it. Um, my nephew John was born John 3:16, March 16th. That's cool. Um, yeah, I know. That's why I try to depending on how much decorating we want to do, depends on how hard it is. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but there are times where I don't want to do it, and I'm just like, eh. There are other times I get into it, and I'm like, okay, where am I gonna put this? Where am I gonna put that? It's like the whole living room, part of the dining room, even our bedroom in my office has been decorated for the holidays, for Christmas. Um, let's see here. Uh, I think my dad was the first person I knew out of our family that joined the military. But then I found out I have four cousins, no, three cousins that went into the military. I had one that was a Marine MP. Um, I can't remember which one was a MP. The other one I can't remember if he was an engineer or what he did. And then my other cousin, who's the oldest out of the boys from my Aunt Lee's side, um, he was a nuclear sub driver. Basically, he was a pilot for a nuclear submarine, and he stayed in. He was a veteran. He stayed in for his full term, 20 years. You went to Fort Jackson? It's an interesting but crazy place. Um, Especially the Victory Tower. Now I never made it up that far um, because of my shin splints. Um, but let's just say waking up to do PT at the butt crack of dawn when you're a night person is a pain in the butt. Um, so Navy veteran, yeah. I think a lot of us have got veterans in our families in here. Well, the reason why I said that is because due to the chain of command, it basically is supposed to come down from the president to the generals and whatnot in the Pentagon, and then down through the ranks. And a lot of times you have no choice because if the top brass bar, you know, top general basically says, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do. You know, we've been given to go to do our jobs or whatever. But then when you have a president who wants to use the military as his own personal guard and weapon and tell them to shoot civilians and whatnot, which goes against our creed, um, you know, I sit there and go, hey, we all swore an oath to protect enemies from within and out and protect against tyranny. And here I am looking at the bad side of what could happen here in the near future, and it's like how many military men and women are going to drop their arms and say no to a command that goes against the creed or the oath, and that's one of my biggest concerns. um yep, didn't mean to do that. Yep, Pork Chop Hill, I've heard about that. My father during the Vietnam era was a helicopter mechanic. So he was either stationed in Thailand or one of the other countries that surrounded Korea. Um, and he, every so often, his commanding officer would come out to the flight line and go, you, get on that bird, go out there and pick up the dead or the dying. Um, Thankfully, he never had to deal with combat issues, but still, it was scary. Um, yeah, okay, no problem. Um, I love cats. I love all animals. It don't matter. Um, just Oreo sometimes gets a little on my nerves, especially when she comes out here, opens up the curtains after we've closed it, and starts barking at what? There's nobody outside. You know, the leaves are blowing. What are you barking at? Um, so we had some pretty bad rain here not too long ago. Um, over the over the week, basically, it started pouring. Of course, I made a joke to somebody, and they were like, "How can you joke about that?" Because I was saying, yeah, we're having some really nasty, hardcore downpours with high winds. Mother Nature is crying out in pain or crying out in agony because what's going on around the world. Um, ouch. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just reading you guys' comments. They don't have to give me a thumbs up. Um, Actually, Mom has been doing a good job of keeping her appointment. So my biggest concern is how she's going to get. Is she going to be able to get there? Well, if Carla's got the car, I'm pretty sure Carla will take her. But it's the other times. Oh, she must be on her other account. You're funny, Jerry. You're funny. I know we had talked about trimming each other's hair because I want mine shorter on the sides. Hate the long sides. Oh, I realize you're honest before you even showed me the pictures. I gotta find my I gotta find my photo album from. Uh, well, there's one when I was a baby when he was on black and white photos, and there's a couple of them from Germany. Oh, you were talking about your was it your grandfather? Yes, Jerry has two accounts. One is her. It was originally her vlog or her DIY channel, and then she started another one because it was going to be her blog channel. Now that she doesn't do, she's not able or can't get to her DIYs. You know, but Jerry's problem is the house could be 65 degrees or 66 degrees in here, and she's going to complain that she's hot. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm freezing my tail end off. But it's the argument we have. It's like, okay, yeah. But now that I'm at this particular age, 53, I kind of understand because there are times where the house could be 68 degrees and I'm, you know, and it could be sunny outside. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm freezing. Why am I cold? Um, and there are other days where it's like, somebody want to like turn the air conditioner down to 58 and fill the bathtub with ice so I can go cool off. So, yes, we men have the same thing women have. It's just for different reasons. Um, Jerry's sense of humor is always good for the most part. There are some times where I go, huh? Um, but and there was a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago, Jerry Ann showed me a somebody had put out, you know, jokes from Germany, and the joke was, oh fudge, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna forget it. Oh, the joke was, what's the stupidest country or something like that? What country is the stupidest? It's in between Canada and Mexico. Yeah, they were talking about us, and I just went, oh man, this is kind of funny, and it's kind of true in certain circumstances. So I put it up on my Facebook, and people were like, and I'm like, get over yourself. You know, but it just some people just can't take. I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the things. It's like, okay, when I first read this top part, I was like, Germany's got a joke, because the joke about Germany was they don't have humor. They don't have any humor. Um, but when I saw it and read it, I just about fell out laughing my tail end off. Um, I do. I feel better when I get done with my lives. Um, but see, Jerry, everybody wants you to do it live. You know, me and Nelly can make sure all the naysayers and whatnot go out the door. Um, but I mean, there's been a lot of things that come across my feed on Facebook that I'm just like, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna leave it alone. It's just people either trying to stir up crap or they're just trying to cause fear mongering, and I'm not done. I'm just done. Um, but it's disturbing how many people are so rude to other people just because of an opinion or their decision to be red or blue. Um, and I'm like, no, no. And there was this thing that keeps on going around between about Whoopi Goldberg and Barbara Streisand. And they're both basically saying that they want to leave the country because they see the negativity towards women. It's not just women of color, but it's women with their own ideas, women with their own voice and their own empowerment for whatever they need to have. And people are like, oh, good riddance. See you later. Bye bye. And I'm like, and I posted this under one of them because it got me so mad because they were talking about all the non Republicans or non Trump supporters to just get up and leave the country. And I'm like, I basically put in that, my comment to their comment basically was, how about instead of just the non-Trump supporters, how about every non-Native American go back to your homeland and give this land that we stole from the Native people and let the Native people do what they want with it. It's like we, the white people, basically the people who either came across the ocean to basically live here, or was brung here as slaves and whatnot. Those people who don't belong in this country, that are non-native, or basically helped, either their ancestors either helped slaughter, poison, or basically kicked them off their homelands. So we, the white man who thinks we're the best of the best, can take over. And people are like, well, so did your ancestors. And I'm like, no, except for maybe the UK. My German ancestors came here after the Civil War, or not after the Civil War, after the War of Independence. My Norwegian or Norse ancestors, they came over here to settle, to set down villages, and they didn't want to fight the Native Americans. They wanted to trade with the Native Americans, because by the time the Norsemen came to America, we were more civilized. We weren't barbaric. We weren't trying to take anything over. We were just trying to expand, because our ancestral lands, Norse ancestral lands, are a hard place to live. So I was just kind of like, how about anyone who has no Native American connection via DNA, get the heck out of Dodge. Go back to your homeland. And that's what bugs me. Is people are like, oh yeah, I'm proud to be American. Oh really? Really? Are you Native American? No. Then how can you really call yourself an American? I don't. I literally consider myself a displaced European. I'm living on borrowed time on this land because the Native Americans of today are so smart. They're building up casinos because the white man likes to lose their money. They like to gamble away their lives. The Native Americans are making bank because they don't have taxation. It's a federal law. We cannot tax them. So they probably got enough money in bank to buy back this country. To literally go to the White House and say, here's all your money that you lost to us in our gambling casinos. We want our nation back. We want America back. But, Amy, I have maybe a quarter Native American. My DNA from Ancestry.com does not show that, so I don't know. But the thing is, I'd be more than happy to go back to Europe. If the Native American country took back this country and kicked all the Anglos, white people, maybe let the Latinos and the African Americans stay because they were brought here as slaves. I've already said once before, if the Native American people took over this country and decided to basically say, hey, look, you can either go back to your ancestral homeland, or you're going to live under our rule, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Cool. But the thing is, it's like, I'm a white guy, but I love my brothers and sisters, don't matter what skin color they are. I've never met a total culture or creed, color, or race that I did not have a problem with. I love everybody, is people that do things like act like, yes, there would be so many less fights if the Native Americans took over. It's we white people who start all the trouble. Literally, we do. We act too arrogant. We become bigots. We become racists, womanizers, and yet we want to stir. We're doing all this in Christ's name. No, we're not. Christ don't want that. Christ doesn't want that kind of crap. Christ wants us to get along, live together in harmony, not fight because of skin color or religion or how much money you have in the bank or what you look like. God don't care about that stuff. God cares about what's in your heart. We can sit here and go, yeah, I'm doing great things in the name of Christ, in the name of Christ. But in our hearts, no, we're not. We're doing what we want to do for ourselves and be damned to everybody else. Let's see here. Let me go back here. Mary in the bushes, Nellie. Mary in the bushes, Nellie put. Great to give him the views. Okay. I didn't understand that. Sorry. Florence, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. You're in Germany, watching from Germany. We do have a lot of humor. Please don't. Oh, I wasn't trying to be rude. I lived there for 3 years. You guys can be some of the greatest people around. I mean, I've probably seen more sensible or actually real funny stuff coming out of most European countries. Here in America, we talk smack about each other and we think it's funny. No, it's not. It's rude. I used to watch a guy, speaking about Germany, I used to watch a guy who would take an English word like hospital and translate it in 4 or 5 different countries, including Germany. And I know the German language sounds a lot, very guttural, basically, as some people would. Because in Germany, the word Krankenhaus is hospital. But it's the way it sounds so harsh, and it's like, whoa, what was that? But I think it's funny as all get out. Because I lived there for 3 years and I loved it. I did not want to leave. My dad was stationed there from 80 to 83. Up from the Mosel River, basically you take Zell, and you go up that mountain road, you'll pass through a town called Altley. And then you get on the Autobahn and you go over to the next town over on the Autobahn in the air base, Hahn Air Force Base, which is now municipal. Huh?
It wasn't on the Autobahn.
I know. It was up off the Autobahn.
Nope. Autobahn was up the mountain.
Oh,
Further up the mountain.
I'm thinking about where the air base was. Didn't we,
It was a highway, but it wasn't the Autobahn.
Oh, it wasn't the Autobahn. It was a highway. Okay. Mom remembers it better than I do. But the air base was right there outside of a town, and I think the town's name was Zorn. The air base was given back to the German people, and they turned it into a municipal airport. But I loved going to like Kolkum, Koblenz, so many different castles along the Mosel and Rhine River that we went to. But I loved it there. I did not want to leave as a kid. So it was kind of hard to be like, oh, we got to go back to America. And I'll tell you what, when we went there, I thought there was going to be like, a cultural shock. Yeah, minor cultural shock going to Germany. coming back to America, that's when I got the cultural shock. I was like, this is America? It's not the America I remember. I remember TV shows like Battlestar Galactica with Graham Greene. Um, and not Graham Greene,
Lauren Green.
Lauren Green. I know last name was Green, but it's like, ugh. Um, but anyhow, well, Hispanic people or Mexicans, um, they have they do have indigenous blood, but they also have Spanish blood because of the conquistadors. Um, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Um, yeah, Germany is a great country. I loved it. I mean, the food was so decadent. I still love, and in fact, I've got a couple different recipes for sauerbraten. Mom has a recipe. I think she has a recipe still for German cheesecake. Um, so I loved her, and we buy every time we go shopping. Our Walmart has bratwurst, so we always have a package of bratwurst in the freezer. Every so often, our Aldi's has Weisswurst or Bierwurst, um, Nachtwurst. I love it. Oh man, and I'm not a big fan of sauerkraut. I used to be, but because of certain issues with my taste buds and whatnot, the vinegar could be too much and causes me to start coughing like crazy. But I love red cabbage. I love spätzle and dumplings. I can keep going. I mean, every time I find out about a German restaurant, I'm like, we got to go there at least once a year. We haven't been there. We haven't been to a German restaurant in a long time because the one that was here in St. Roberts moved, and we're trying to find it. I think we did find it, but we just never went back to eat. Um, but yeah, okay, German and Polish, they're not too far apart. Um, First off, Allison, I don't give a rat's rumpus what those two have to say about me because it's all bullshit. I mean, it's like me, I'm far from being a narcissist. Far from being a narcissist. I think they need to relearn what that word means because, you know, I'm nowhere near being a narcissist. You know, I'm not a control freak. I don't demand shit. I don't try to manipulate shit. I sit down, I talk, I give out all the information I have, and mom and Jerry can make their decisions from that. Otherwise, that's bullshit. Don't even get me started with those two because, um, that in fact, I have enough people that I rely, I trust, and I'll listen to them before I listen to somebody that I don't even know. Um, I used to be able to speak fluent, well, not really fluent, but basic German. Wasn't really fluent, but it was enough to get me by. Um, and I haven't used it in such a long time, so I'm kind of like, I remember Guten Tag, Guten Evening, Guten Morgen, Wie gehst du? Um, I know some of the curse words, but I'm not going to repeat them. Well, they're not really curse words because if you translate them right, it's not really a curse word, except for Shastakov. That's shithead. Schweinhund, which basically, if you translate it properly, it basically means stubborn or stupid. Um, Gittenziaust, um, which basically means get out. Um,
Rouse.
Raus, yeah,
Same thing. Get out.
which is get out. Um, you know, I haven't had to use German in such a long time. It's like, but I'm pretty sure if I went to do a educational educational course, not curse, educational course in German, I probably would remember a lot of it and get back to the way it was. Um, yeah, I'm starting to think I know who Allison is too. Another mole. Actually, you know, it's really funny now that I'm thinking German. What's really funny is German compared to English is easier because we have the what, okay? So if you use the in German, they have masculine, feminine, and neutral. The table, it's a neutral thing. The table with flowers, that's feminine.
No, that's
The,
masculine.
the table with flowers?
Table is feminine unless you put something on it, and then it becomes masculine. And that's why I quit, I quit German lessons. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, so I forgot. But yeah, they have basically the, depending on like the table, plain table, neutral. The table with flowers is feminine, but it's also masculine because it's got something on it. So it's like, okay. So it's how you formulate the sentence using the and the proper spelling or pronunciation of the depends on if it's male, female, or neuter. But yeah, it's been such a long time. Um, Redhead, where you live? Because I know Arizona had one when we were living there in Mesa, Phoenix, Mesa area. There's what they call the beer garden in New York. I can't remember which township of New York. That's a German restaurant, and then here we have the Hub in St. Robert. So I'm surprised that there's not a German restaurant in just about every town, city, or suburb. Um, yeah, that is great. Now that your two oldest can speak fluent German. Um, I'm guessing they either worked in Germany or were in Germany for an extended period of time. Um, I used to have arguments with my German teacher when I was in high school because he was teaching what they call High German. High German is a business class German. Okay. Yeah, it can get you around, but most German citizens would look at you like you're definitely American because you're speaking High German. What I learned while living in there for 3 years, which he did not understand, that I lived there for 3 years, and he tried to say, "No, you didn't." I went, "What?" Um, and my mom, I think my mom got into it with him, but he was getting mad at me because I was speaking low or common German, and he could not understand how I knew these things, but he was mad because it wasn't what he was teaching. And one of my arguments I had with him was like, how can you know German but not know German? He was like, what do you mean? I said, you're speaking High German, which is a business class. I learned German off the streets, which is common German. He tried to fail. I think he failed me for that class, but I think he failed me mostly because, you know, he knew I was right and he just didn't want to admit to it because he's a teacher or some shit like that.
It was the written German that you're not.
Oh yeah, the written German. Yeah, I was never good at written German.
But you passed the oral German in flying colors.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that now. But I also remember that the one day he pissed me off, and I was cursing him out in German, like a German, and he just couldn't take it because it wasn't the high school German he was teaching, or the high German. So he wanted to send me to the principal's office, and the principal couldn't understand. I said, easy. Basically, I just cursed him out in every word that I learned off the streets in Germany for living there 3 years. Yet he wants to say I never was there. I've got pictures of the castles. I got school records. I got military records. I've got my mom. If my dad was still alive, I would have had dad. And dad would have ripped him a new one. My father would have ripped him a new one. So it's like I lived there for 3 years. Let me look at some of you guys'. Well, Linda, I'm not trying to put you down or put anybody down, because yeah, there are still a lot of indigenous Hispanic, or not. I don't want to call them Mexicans, because they weren't really considered Mexicans before the name, somebody named the country. But yeah, I mean, you can look at Central America and most of South America, if not all of South America, still have like either Mayan or Incan bloodlines. So yeah, there's still a lot of indigenous people in Mexico and South America. And I don't mind you correcting me. You're putting your comment that you put forth was very informative, and I had no reason to argue it, because you know I don't know much about Central or South America historically. Most of my historical information either is European or North American, and a lot of my information is not even in the books. Nellie, your oldest son went to Germany on vacation a few times. Loved it. Oh, if I ever had the money to go there on vacation and found myself a job and a way to become a German citizen, I would be in heaven. Because I love the landscape, I love the people, I love the food, And somebody just said down here, oh, Corey said, Germans get a bad rap because of Hitler. Well, you got to understand the history. Hitler was not German. He was actually Austrian. He was also a Jew. His mother came down with a deadly illness that the doctors could not cure, because there was no cure for that particular illness at that time. So when his mother died, he just went on a genocidal rampage. And because Austria didn't want anything to do with him, even though he was an Austrian soldier, he basically took his followers into Germany and practically brainwashed the youth and the middle-aged people of Germany, and they bought it. And they bought into his lies, his bullshit, and all that stuff, and caused World War II. So yeah.
Germans didn't like him either.
Yeah, the Germans didn't like him at all. They hated him. That's why every time when they saw American soldiers coming into their area, they'd be like, come, we'll hide you. And anytime a German soldier, a Nazi, fell, basically shot once but still alive, the German farmers would come out with their pitchforks and whatnot and stab the shit out of them. So yeah, Germany got a bad rap from Hitler, but Hitler was not German. So yeah, the country is so much more than, put it this way. One of the things I learned from our landlord, who was a German citizen. Okay, there we go. Basically, my landlord told us, don't say anything about Hitler. Don't mention Hitler's name. Because basically, if you talked about Hitler and how great he was for Germany, they would basically take you out back and beat the crap out of you. So we learned Hitler is not a thing Germany wants to hear. So, and I love the German people. Misinformation. Oh, well, it was misunderstanding more than misinformation, but, you know, I accept what she's saying because, like I said, I don't know much about Espanol or Mexico or, the history of Mexico, other than the conquistadors were looking for the city of gold and beat and did everything they could to find it or get information about so. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, I learned that firsthand from the Germans. Oh yeah, Hitler was not only a nut, but he was homicidal. He was a dictator, a tyrant. He was insane. And excuse me for those who like Trump, but Trump is looking like a modern day Hitler. Um, but that's my opinion. You can take it or leave it. Yeah, it's history can be scary, and what's even more scarier about it is we're doomed. There are people out there who don't want to listen to history, or they want to take history and try to rewrite it into modern day books. And it's scary because it's like we're repeating ourselves. I mean, we're not repeating ourselves, but we're repeating history. And it's like, oh, I don't want to. I mean, I can see all kinds of bad things happening, and I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't even want to be near it. You know. Sorry, Nelly. Um, but yeah, he was a sick cookie. And yes, history does tend to repeat itself. And yes, Bluegrass is right. I love history, and I love nature. Um, yeah, it's like, huh? Um, but all in all, I mean, what's going on in today's world is scary enough as is. And what's even scarier is, yeah, we tend to repeat history without realizing we're repeating history. Because a lot of people want to go, oh, that was in the past. That will never happen again. What? The past is to help us learn so we don't repeat it again. But there are so many people out there who just don't want history, don't want to pay attention to history. We don't want to acknowledge, or like what we've been trying to do, a lot of people have been trying to do here in America is rewrite it. They want to tear down monuments that are towards what a lot of people call racist historical figures. I'm like, okay, so are we going to tear down the Lincoln Memorial because he had slaves? Are we going to tear down Mount Rushmore because most of those people had servants? Thing is, history doesn't say, oh yeah, Lincoln had service, but he treated his servants with dignity and respect, and they got clothing, food, and income. Now, only people I would sit there and go, okay, yeah, the South, they didn't treat their servants with dignity or respect or anything like that. They whipped them, beat them, and basically chained them up. Yet here in the North, where most of the servants were running towards, knew that here in the North, we treated them with dignity and respect because they were another human being, not just some bought piece of property. Um, yeah, they're trying to take away history because they don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to make sure it doesn't get repeated. Now, I can see them rewriting certain things into, not rewriting, but adding certain things into our history, like what happened to the Native Americans and how we treated them, how the African American or African servants came to America. I want everybody to acknowledge the fact of what we did to indigenous people, to people who look different than us. I want us to recognize each other as human beings, not just pieces of history. But here we are in the 20th century, and we need to be acknowledging each other with dignity, respect. You know, there are a lot of women out there that can do jobs in the military just as good as a man. There's a lot of women out there who could do just as good as a man in politics. Yeah, changing holidays is just kind of like, what? Um, so it's just kind of like one of those. How can we be doing these things while, I mean, it's like, yeah. See, the thing that bugs me the most, and I'm gonna have to get off this here in a moment because my phone just told me low bat. Um, there are things in history that made me go, why do we treat people like that? I mean, I've heard stories that just make me shiver and make me want to just puke, knowing that pieces of history that weren't written but were known by the defeated people. Take the Native Americans. Here's something I don't always want to talk about, but yeah. The one thing I don't normally talk about because it's just something that really curdles my stomach. There's a story that was left out of the history books that basically said during the Little Big Horn, when Custer slaughtered all those Native Americans, that men were literally cutting women's breasts off to use them as coin purses. I just about went, what? That's not only slaughtering, but that's butchering. I mean, what the frick? I mean, when I read that out of a Native American written piece of information, I just went, that's just so wrong. So wrong. And I'm thankful that we're not that kind of people anymore, but the thing is, just the way we treat other people because they're not the same religion, or they're not the same skin color, or they don't speak the same way we do, or even our language. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. We're in a world nowadays that with technology, we have translators on our phones. Almost sounds like Star Trek where they have the comm badge that help translate an alien language. I mean, in a way, we were heading in a very good direction, but at the same time, at what cost? At what cost to the Mexicans? What cost to the African Americans or the Asian Americans or even the Asians, the Europeans? What cost for striving towards technology when if a sunburst was strong enough to knock out our communication satellites, and that will basically knock out our internet? What cost to the planet to be tearing down old growth forests? It's taken away the Earth's ability to create oxygen for all land-bound life forms to survive. It's just, It amazes me how stupid, yet how smart we are. We're supposed to be the smartest living organism on our planet, but we're not. An elephant is smarter. A dolphin is smarter. My dog is smarter. Yet we live like we're the dominant species. Yeah, we're the dominant species because we're dumb enough to make weapons of mass destruction. But a chimpanzee is smart enough to take a stick, shove it into a termite mound to get the termites out so he has something to eat. Crows are smart enough that if somebody puts a chunk of food in a tube, they're smart enough to take a long stick, push it in a tube, and push the food out. But anyhow, I digress. I said it once, I'll say it again. I don't care what the negative people want to say about me. Okay? They want to judge my intelligence or my capacity or whatever by their small ass ruler. Let them. Let them. All they're doing by putting out this hate and whatnot is making fools of themselves. Literally, they're making fools of themselves, but they think they're making fools of me and Jerry. You know? But anyhow, I'm going to go before my phone dies. So I will see you guys maybe later tonight with Jerry, maybe Tuesday, maybe a blog, I don't know. But you guys have a good day, evening, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully the week ahead is good. So until next time, see you guys later. Bye.